So 2017 was a great year for pro wrestling in WWE, especially in NXT, and with only four takeover events taking place in the year of 2017, it was hard for me to notch down what matches really made an impression on me. But I feel like I've done pretty well here with this list, and so here we're going to take a look at the top 10 NXT TakeOver matches of 2017. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the WRESTLEDUDE channel. Number 10, The Authors of Pain versus DIY versus The Revival, NXT TakeOver Orlando. This matchup was so good, and really all tag team wrestling from NXT this year has been so good, and it was so hard trying to pick a number 10 spot. And two of the tag teams in this matchup will be appearing on this list later on, but we'll get to that. But in this matchup, it was so good. It was triple threat elimination style. The Authors of Pain, DIY, and The Revival. The Revival were treated like baby faces here. You had DIY and The Revival sort of renewing their rivalry, and then you had them teaming up to take on the Authors of Pain themselves. We saw a table crash. The only thing that drags this down just a little bit is the fact that DIY got eliminated first, and we ended up with a strange heel team versus heel team ending, but the Revivals were still sort of cheered like baby faces, and so it still worked out. But that is why this is my number 10 for this list. Number 9, Bobby Roode versus Hideo Itami for the NXT Championship, TakeOver Chicago. Now, before his more distant cousin Booby Roode would make it up to the main roster, Bobby Roode was tearing it up in NXT as the NXT champion, and Hideo Itami, after being back from being plagued with injuries, finally had his chance to shine in none other than the hometown of the man that made his finisher, the Go to Sleep, famous. Hideo Itami would face off against the Glorious One in an incredible matchup filled with strikes, storytelling, and when Hideo Itami finally hit that Go to Sleep on Bobby Roode, the crowd would erupt, only to be brought back down with sorrow as Bobby Roode rolled out of the ring. Hideo Itami drastically rolls out, throws him back in the ring, covers him, but to no avail, only for Hideo to be fired up, to pull down his knee pad, go for the go to sleep again, only for Roode to counter with a glorious DDT. And with Bobby Roode taking up after John Cena from the Royal Rumble just a couple months earlier, keeps the arm locked, even with a seemingly injured arm. He keeps the arm locked, rolls through, and takes a second consecutive glorious DDT for the victory, sending both of these men and this match itself to the number 9 spot. Number 8, we have Alistair Black versus Hideo Itami, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. This match was so good, and I know I'm saying that for all the matches on this list, but I mean, come on, you expected it to be like this. This is NXT we're talking about, and especially at TakeOver, they do not sleep on us, and this match was no exception. Following on from the matchup at TakeOver against Bobby Roode, Hideo Itami would go on an incredible heel run, which consisted of him turning his back on his good friend, the returning Cassius Ohno, and for no good reason at all, other than probably he lost his mind being planted into the mat with 2 glorious DDTs, he would target Alistair Black, leading to this matchup, which was such a hard-hitting affair. Stiff strikes and punches with an incredible finish that not only protected Alistair Black, but Hideo Itami as well. And that's when you have a good match, when even in defeat, both men look great. And if you have a friend that's an MMA fan and you want to get them into WWE wrestling or NXT specifically, this is definitely the match that I would show them, and it is why this is at the number 8 spot. Number 7, Asuka versus Ember Moon for the NXT Women's Championship, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Plagued with injury before their earlier rematch, Ember Moon would be sitting out watching Asuka face off against 3 other women in a fatal 4-way matchup before finally getting this rematch at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And many people saw this as the time for Ember Moon to finally defeat Asuka and become the NXT Women's Champion, knowing that Asuka at this time would probably be moving up to the main roster, thus giving Ember Moon the idea that she is the only woman to ever defeat Asuka. And so when she finally hits the Eclipse, many people saw this as the end of Asuka's undefeated streak. And when Asuka kicked out, many people in that arena were shocked, especially Ember Moon, who was just dumbfounded. And so when Asuka finally beat her, even with an injury that we would find out to come on later on, this was still a great match, and it definitely proved that Ember Moon, even without winning the championship, could be considered as the next woman to lead the NXT Women's Division, and which is why it is here in the number 7 spot. Number 6, the Wargames match, NXT Takeover Wargames. Strange rules and all, and WWE continuing with its strange shark cage fetish, this match made several stars feel even bigger, including Alexander Wolf, who was busted open hard, showing that this was a war zone. Killian Dane with a great coast-to-coast. Kyle O'Reilly looking scared in the progress of that. Roderick Strong's super duper plex from off the top of the steel cage, and I will be docking points for the strange finish, but they're gained right back with the hilarious moment of Kyle O'Reilly missing the steel chair shot, only for it to bounce off the ropes and hit him right in the face. This was a great matchup full of carnage and just gritty, down and dirty fighting between 3 incredible factions, and I do give bonus points again for Roderick Strong's attempt at being a smaller version of one of the Authors of Pain, and this matchup really makes me think I cannot wait for the next time the War Games come to town. Number 5, Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre, NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, with Drew McIntyre appearing at an earlier TakeOver event, and with his interesting signing in recent weeks, Drew McIntyre prominently showed why he should have always been penciled in as a top guy and the true chosen one in WWE years ago, and WWE finally had came to their senses and given Drew McIntyre the push that he deserved and the main event spot that he deserved, and this matchup exactly showed that. In the end, it really was a paint-by-the-numbers finish, but it was what would happen afterwards that was very interesting. Drew McIntyre celebrating the new NXT champion, only to turn around to be met by Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, who had already made their presence known early in the night, attacking the tag team champions, only to turn around to be met by Adam Cole, baby! And it would ensue into an interesting beatdown, which would lead to Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish going on to become the Undisputed Era, standing over the fallen new NXT champion. A great matchup that I really enjoyed, and an interesting cliffhanger, which had led it into a new era of NXT. You could call it an Undisputed Era. Number 4, the Authors of Pain versus DIY in a ladder match, NXT TakeOver Chicago, with many people believing this match would be canceled due to a Ciampa injury earlier in the week. WWE came back and said, nope, in fact, it's the main event, and they tore the house down. We saw Paul Ellering eat a super kick from Johnny Gargano after trying to stop him from retrieving the championships. We saw double dives from DIY off ladders, through ladders on the Authors of Pain, Ciampa pulling one Author of Pain off a ladder through another ladder. We even saw Johnny Gargano saving his best friend, shoving Ciampa out of the way, and eating a ladder shot from the Authors of Pain himself, proving that these two were indeed good friends. And in the end, it was to no avail. The Authors of Pain would win, and everyone thought DIY would break up right there after the match. But as the end logo showed on the screen, everyone watching was relieved to see these two would stay together for just a little while longer. Only for Ciampa to toss Johnny into the screen and slam him through 2 tables, creating the best breakup and my personal favorite tag team breakup of all time. This match was great, the ending result was great, and I cannot wait for the Gargano-Ciampa rivalry, which is why it is at my number 4 spot. Number 3, Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Takeover San Antonio. The Battle of the Entrances. I loved the storytelling of this matchup, with Roode being a great heel and with Nakamura selling a crazy looking knee injury towards the end of the match, making everything feel real, even with a doctor coming down, Nakamura hitting a Kinshasa but not able to make the cover. His knee was hurt. The doctor came down to check on Nakamura. Nakamura said he could continue. He got back in the ring for Roode to hit a glorious DDT, only for Nakamura to kick out, and Roode was incensed. He would beat on the leg, locking it in a half Boston crab, punching the knee as he had it locked in. We even had Matt Bloom coming out to check on Nakamura at ringside, and you were thinking like, oh my god, is this a legit injury? They really milked this as this trying to be a realistic angle, making it even feel more real watching it live. Nakamura in the end trying to lock in a triangle, but with the bad knee, he wasn't able to lock it in hard enough, and for Roode to get out to hit another glorious DDT and to capture his first and only NXT championship, and which is why this captures the number 3 spot on our list. Number 2, Alistair Black versus Velveteen Dream, NXT Takeover Wargames. This was my 2017 feud of the year in WWE. Such good story being told, playing out all over NXT, all because Alistair Black wouldn't say Velveteen Dream. He would say Patrick Clark, but he would not say Velveteen Dream. And heading into this matchup, we even had extra storytelling by Velveteen Dream having his tights painted with his rival's face on it, a la Rick Rude back in his rivalry with Jake the Snake. And this match featured great moments for Velveteen Dream, including a cartwheel Death Valley driver, a Sister Abigail styled DDT, all ending with Alistair Black hitting that black mass as Velveteen Dream spoke his name, all dazed and staggered. And this really did prove that Velveteen Dream was more than just some guy from Tough Enough. This shot Dream from Tough Enough contestant to breakout star, with the added bonus of Black giving him the rub even after he defeated Velveteen Dream by saying, "Enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream." So everybody won. Black is still undefeated, and Dream gets acknowledgement not only from Alistair Black, but from wrestling fans around the world. Number 1, Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate for the UK Championship, NXT Takeover Chicago. We travel back to Chicago for our final match, as many consider this to be a match of the year, and I agree, as these two had a great back and forth proper slugfest, made even better with good old JR on commentary. This match was truly worth a takeover spot and proves why the UK stars deserve their own show, and if rumors are to be believed and the show is greenlit, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate should be known as the top 2 stars on that show, given this match and their third encounter a few months later on NXT TV are more than enough proof to show why UK wrestlers are just as good, if not better, than the NXT homegrown talent. So, did I miss any out? Of course I did. This was such a great year for NXT, and I cannot wait for all the takeover events that will take place in 2018. So let me know in the comment section, what was your favorite takeover matchup of 2017, and what matches are you expecting to see at the next NXT takeover event? I've been Jacob from the WRESTLEDUDE channel. Thank you for joining me for our very first top 10 list, and don't forget to subscribe and follow me on all social media. Check out our website. All the links are on our channel and in the description below, and I will see you guys next time.